Now that we have reached a standstill during the 2021 offseason, I think it's worth noting the biggest winner and biggest loser of free agency and beyond as we prepare for the 2022 NBA season. Starting off with, in my opinion, the biggest winner, the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls front office was busy during free agency with the goal of getting Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic some help. They traded for Vucevic from the Orlando Magic at this past trade deadline with the hopes of making a push for the play-in tournament. But late in the season, LaVine was sidelined for 11 games due to health and safety protocols, and the Bulls finished 2 games short of the tournament. Entering the offseason, the Bulls were without a first-round pick in the 2021 draft, as it was sent to Orlando in the deadline deal. But they did draft guard Ayo Dosunmu in the second round, and heading towards free agency, the Bulls were looking to make some major moves. In the first minute of free agency, it was reported that Lonzo Ball was on his way to Chicago via a sign and trade with the Pelicans that sent Garrett Temple, Tomas Satoransky, a future second-round pick, and cash considerations to New Orleans. Lonzo Ball is a perfect fit for the Bulls, as he is a great playmaker and defender, which will help out backcourt mate Zach LaVine's struggles on the defensive end. Ball has also shown significant strides as a three-point shooter, and is now considered a solid threat from downtown. It was known around the league that Lonzo was going to get paid somewhere, and the Bulls were the team to do it, and he signed a 4-year, $80 million deal that will keep him in Chicago until at least 2025, meaning that he'll hit free agency again before his age 27 season, and the Pelicans decided not to match this deal. This move also solidifies that the Bulls don't necessarily see Kobe White in their future plans, as he moves to their second unit and could be put on the trade market in the near future. And out of nowhere, the Bulls signed 2020 NBA champion Alex Caruso to a 4-year, $37 million deal to bring him to Chicago. This move definitely came as a surprise, but it's a fantastic deal for the Bulls, as Caruso is a great defender and solid playmaker who will be perfect to come off their bench. Alex also knows what it's like to be in a championship locker room and will be able to bring a winning attitude back to the Windy City. And he will probably end up playing big-time minutes off the bench due to his energy and defensive abilities. And the third and final major move of the Chicago Bulls offseason is bringing in 4-time All-Star Demar Derozan, who agreed to a 3-year, $85 million deal with Chicago, also via a sign-and-trade that sent Thaddeus Young, Al-Farouq Aminu, a future protected first-round pick, and 2 future second-round picks to the San Antonio Spurs. DeMar was one of the biggest names in the free agency market this season, and he decided to join the Bulls, further solidifying their hopes to make the playoffs and try to be a middle-of-the-pack team in the Eastern Conference. DeRozan just makes this Chicago team even stronger. Many predicted them to be a playoff team, or at the very worst, a play-in team next season. But with DeMar, they are a guaranteed playoff team, assuming the team stays healthy this year. All of these moves this offseason leaves Lauri Markkanen's future in Chicago up in the air, as many teams like the Hornets and the Mavericks have been rumored to have interest in the stretch big, but it's safe to assume that the Bulls won't match any deal he does get, and if they do, it'll be to orchestrate a sign and trade. The Bulls starting lineup this season is probably looking like Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic, with Kobe White and Alex Caruso as their 6th and 7th men in the rotation. Pat Will's development will be key for the Bulls this season, as he looks to continue to grow as a defensive-minded wing, which will be massive for the team's success going forward. The Bulls' focus will now turn to getting Zach LaVine to sign a contract extension this season, as he is set to now enter unrestricted free agency next summer. The possibility of him leaving is rather unlikely, but it is important for the franchise to lock him up now, so you don't have to worry about it again next year. The Bulls enter 2022 with something to prove, and playoff basketball should return to Chicago this season, and this roster is well-rounded and ready to compete now. And because of all of this, I believe the Chicago Bulls are the biggest winners of the 2021 NBA offseason. And now for the biggest loser, in my opinion, the New Orleans Pelicans. If you saw my bold predictions video for 2022, I predicted that the Pels will be one of the worst teams in the league, but the more I think about it, I don't know if it's exactly bold anymore. The Pelicans will be building around their young stars in Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson going forward, but I will start off with their one win of the offseason, which was trading Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe, the 10th pick in this past draft, and a future first-round pick to the Memphis Grizzlies for Jonas Valanciunas and the 17th pick. This trade was great for the Pels as they got both Adams and Bledsoe's contracts off the books, 2 pretty terrible contracts for their respective values, and they used the 17th overall pick to draft Trey Murphy III out of Virginia. Valanciunas fits the Pelicans better, as he has shown the ability to stretch the floor, which is going to be pivotal around Zion, who will be dominating the paint. So where did things start to go wrong this offseason for the Pels? Well, this trade opened up a decent amount of cap space because they wanted to make a run at signing either Kyle Lowry or Chris Paul. Unfortunately for them, they ended up with neither, as Lowry ended up in Miami on a 3-year deal via a sign and trade with Toronto, and Paul re-signed with the Suns on a 4-year deal that will keep him there until he is 40 years old. They had the money to match Lonzo Ball's deal from the Chicago Bulls, and obviously chose not to, and instead got some questionable pieces back, as neither Tomas Satoransky or Garrett Temple actually fit their timeline. The most surprising part of this is both Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson expressed how they wanted Lonzo back in New Orleans next season, so I don't quite understand why the Pels wouldn't match his deal after the other two targets went elsewhere. And to replace Lonzo, they acquired Devontae Graham, formerly of the Hornets, in a sign and trade that sent Wes Iwundu and their lottery-protected first-round pick in this upcoming 2022 draft to Charlotte. The first-round pick will then convey into 2 future second-rounders if the Pels end up in the lottery this year, and I think that is probably the likely outcome. Graham is a very good player, but if we're being honest, he isn't exactly an upgrade over Lonzo, as he is a worse three-point shooter and not as great of a defender. All of these moves make it seem like the Pelicans want to compete right now, but they are most certainly not in any position to do so at this point in time. And their cap window will soon be closing, as Zion Williamson will be eligible to sign his rookie extension next summer, even though it won't kick in until the following season, and Valanciunas is set to be an unrestricted free agent next year. Brandon Ingram's rookie max extension is starting this season, so that's already 1 max contract spot locked up going forward. My biggest issue with the Pelicans offseason is that yes, even though they did make changes, I just don't think that any of them pushed the needle for them, especially in a stacked Western Conference, where most of the teams are trying to compete at the very least for a play-in spot. The way I see it is the Pelicans don't exactly have an identity at this moment. Like, we know that Ingram and Zion are the future, but what else is their goal at this point? The moves that they made fix some issues, but don't solve everything in an already flawed roster. They seem like they want to compete right now, but they definitely aren't doing that this season, so when do things change for them is what I've been trying to figure out. The front office made another coaching change this offseason, bringing in Willie Green to be the franchise's next head coach, who will now be their 3rd head coach in the past 3 seasons. I understand they're thinking of wanting to find the right guy for the job, but consistent coaching changes might actually be hurting the team, at least in the short term, as they are forced to learn new systems and how to gel within the offense each year. The New Orleans Pelicans have a lot of decisions to make going forward, and they need to make sure they have a set plan for the future of the franchise and are trying to win as soon as 2023. And because of all of this, I believe the New Orleans Pelicans are the biggest loser of the 2021 offseason. And there you have it, the biggest winner and loser of the offseason in my opinion. And by the way, this season could prove me wrong with both of these. This is just my guess going into this next season. Let me know who you think won and lost this offseason in the comment section below. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you smash that like button and hit the subscribe button to see more content from me. It really helps the channel grow. Stay connected with me by following my social media, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy yourselves. Have a great day. Peace.